The dreaded red eye. What causes it and how can you get rid of it? I'll tell you right after the intro.
Ask David Bergman.
Hey, welcome back to Ask David Bergman. Of course, I'm here answering your photography questions. Today I've got one from Colleen T, and she asks, how do you avoid your subjects getting red eye or evil eye? Ooh, evil eye. I like the way that sounds, Colleen. Yes, I'm sure you've seen it, right? You take a picture of your friends at a bar one night, you're all out partying, and you take a picture and everybody has that bright red eye that makes them look somewhat devilish. Well, they're probably not actually the devil, although I don't know your friends, maybe, but most likely that's not the case. Really what's happening there is that red color comes from when the flash hits the back of your retina and then bounces back into the lens. What it is there's a lot of blood vessels back there, and it picks up that red color and shows in the picture. Really, the more dilated your pupils are, the wider your pupils are, the better chance that you're going to have that. So in dark environments, your eyes generally are going to be more dilated, more open, so that it's going to be harder to avoid red eye with certain things there. Also, when the flash you would think would make your pupils constrict, right? But the flash just happens too fast. There's not enough time for your pupils to constrict down, to close down, to avoid that red eye. The other thing that might slow down that reaction time is alcohol, right? So if you're at a bar, maybe you're out drinking, you're in a dark environment, there's alcohol involved, it slows down all of your body's reaction times, including your pupils. So pictures of your friends at a bar, most likely you're going to have red eye. Another thing is children. Believe it or not, children have bigger pupils than adults. So a drunk child at a bar, they're definitely going to have red eye. So, all right, I'm joking about drunk children. Please don't comment that I talked about drunk children. Just a joke. Don't drink, kids, all right? Anyway, so how do you avoid getting red eye? Well, now that you know what causes it, there's a few things we can do about it. The first thing is, the reason it really happens is because the angle of the flash has to be almost in line with the lens. That's why a lot of point and shoot cameras where the flash is right there next to the lens, you're gonna see it more often than with an off-camera flash like this, because that angle needs to go right into the person's eye and then right back into the lens. The further away you are, the more that angle is going to be on axis, right? So if you're right up close to somebody, the flash is actually, even at the same distance, it's going to appear a little higher. There's less chance of it happening. But the further away you are, there's an old rule of thumb that basically says the flash head should be 1 inch away from the lens for each foot you are back from your subject. So if you're 6 feet back from your subject, the flash ideally should be at least 6 inches above the lens or more to avoid that red eye. That's just, kind of a rough rule of thumb, but it gives you a good idea of how that works. So the further away you are, you really want to get that flash off camera. So if you're shooting with a DSLR where you can take the flash off camera, that's a great way to avoid red eye. You will not have red eye if you take this flash off camera, either wirelessly or with a cord. And in the studio, that never really happens because you usually have studio lights off camera. So that's not really going to happen. It's usually more of a point and shoot or phone type of problem. Another obvious way to prevent red eye is to shoot without a flash. If you're in a place where you have a camera that you can push up the ISO and shoot, it has better low light capabilities, you can photograph in lower light, maybe at a slower shutter speed or whatever your settings allow you to. If you can photograph without a flash, then you will definitely not get red eye. There's no possibility of it when you aren't using the flash. Another thing you can do is these cameras now are pretty advanced and red eye is a big problem. So a lot of these flashes will emit a red eye reduction mode pre-flash, where basically what it'll do is fire a little flash right before the actual flash that's taking the photograph, that's being used in the photograph. So what that does, by that early flash, actually will make your pupils constrict, so they're smaller, so you have less chance of red eye, or if you do, it's going to be a lot smaller, not that big full eye red eye. Another thing is you could photograph people candidly where they're not looking right at the lens. If you're off, talking to somebody or something like that and make candids, you're not going to have red eye in those photographs either. You really have to be looking directly into the lens so that light bounces right back in. Lastly, if you've tried all these things or you really just have to photograph somebody in a situation where there's going to be red eye, look, you can always fix it in post, right? Pretty much every photo editing software has a red eye thing that you can go in and you can click where the red eye is. Photoshop has this, Lightroom has it. You can click where the red eye is and it'll just color the red into a different color. So basically it gets rid of that red eye. Obviously, it's a last resort. It's not ideal. You're better off preventing it in the first place. But it certainly is an option if you've done all those things. So, Colleen, thanks for asking that question. That's how you deal with red eye. It's what causes it and things you can do to prevent it. Thanks for asking that. Listen, if you have your own photo question, go to AskDavidBergman.com. There's a form there. Fill it out. I will pick the best ones and answer them on a future show. Also, don't forget, we're here on Adorama TV. Man, there's so many great photo hosts on this channel. Lots of great photo educational videos here. So make sure you subscribe, click the little bell so you get notifications, and you can watch them all day long till your heart's desire. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll have a new question next week. I'll see you back here next time.